This is a quick week, and what I want to talk about is something from my year goals, because throughout the year I'm going to be fulfilling not only the knight's requirements, but also my personal year goals. And two of my goals involve travel. One very basically was to the mountains, and the other was to the ocean. So that could mean anything. And we had the opportunity to travel to the ocean last week. And it was a wonderful trip. It was a 7-night trip. Was actually free. That's sort of another story. But we spent the first 4 nights there, Sunday through Wednesday night, and on Wednesday afternoon our son and daughter-in-law and granddaughter came to join us. So the 4th night we got to spend with them, which was their first night, and then they finished out the stay there on their own. So we got to overlap, and we went to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and we had a great time. The weather wasn't warm, being that it was February, but it was nonetheless very beautiful, a little bit mysterious, and just a lot of fun. We had a great room. It was I think about a 750 square foot condominium in a sort of a resort. And one thing I wanted to bring out was just not a quick synopsis of our travels, although I'll show some photos and some video of it, but the fact that when my wife and I travel, we don't go from one accommodation like our home here to another accommodation and just sit in front of the TV. We really try to explore the area and draw out as much adventure as we can. And we've gone on trips that were 24-hour trips, just an overnighter. We did that on a motorcycle once to a place called Lake Lure, North Carolina. We spent 24 hours and it was just phenomenal, memorable to this day. We often take weekend trips, just a 2-nighter. We'll go to Gatlinburg or to the beach or someplace a little bit more closer, sometimes maybe Atlanta or into Charlotte. And we'll do some really neat things. We stay real busy. I mean, we don't get a lot of rest on our vacations because we enjoy adventure more than we just enjoy rest. So after our vacation, sometimes we need a day of rest back at home and back at work, which is sort of funny, but sometimes we'll time it that we'll come back on a weekend so we can just take it easy. But we do like adventure. So when we go on a trip, I try to do some research and find out what are the neat things to see and do in the particular area that we're at. And sometimes if it's a place we've traveled many times, we have our favorites. It's just like, oh, in Gatlinburg, I mean, we love Ober-Gatlinburg, and we love the mountain slide. And, you know, there's just certain things that we always try to do when we go to a particular area. Beach is no different. There's Broadway at the beach, and there's Barefoot Landing, and we got to go to the state parks this time and out on a long pier into the ocean, and we did some walks through some swamps. On the way down, we stopped in Columbia, South Carolina, which is the state capital. And we went to the Riverbank Zoo, which is sort of like a mini animal kingdom from Disney.
Okay, this is our first stop. We're at the Riverbank Zoo. We go see some animals.
I mean, they play thematic music, and they have things set up and laid out real nice. So in addition to see the animals, you get this thematic experience that really feels like a lot of fun. And they've got some great things there, and they have a new sky lift that takes you from the zoo, which is down below, across the river, I don't know the name of it, up to their botanical gardens area. Which you sort of get 2 experiences in one. So.
All right, we're finishing up at the Riverbank Zoo, and it's been beautiful. This is really a nice zoo, and everywhere, I don't know if you can hear it, but everywhere you go, there's thematic music. You know, some of it's Caribbean and some of it feels African, and then we went to the barnyard and it felt like sort of country bluegrass. But it's just a beautiful view, beautiful day, and stop is Myrtle Beach.
That was a lot of fun. We ate some interesting food. We ate at a Chinese buffet one night, and there's something strange about me. I can eat a normal amount of food and be full. In fact, my wife and I, when we go out to eat, we oftentimes split a meal just because that's all the food we need or want, and it's more economical that way too. But we went out to a Chinese buffet, and something about me and Chinese food, you can ask my son, you can ask my wife, I can eat 7 or 10 plates of food and I don't feel full at all. It's like I haven't eaten anything. I wonder if there's any limitation to what I could eat in a Chinese restaurant. And if any of my friends are watching this that have eaten at a buffet with me, a Chinese buffet, they're gonna laugh about that because they know it's true. But literally, I could eat 7, 10 plates of food to where I feel like I've tried everything there is here. And I probably just need to stop because I'm consuming too many calories. But I'll do that. So it's true to fashion. I had 7 to 10 plates of food, and I'm like, I'm not full, but I need to stop. You know, I don't want to gain weight. I want to enjoy all the food that's here and really have a nice time, but I don't need any more calories. So that was a lot of fun. When my son and daughter-in-law and granddaughter came in, we went to, we got them acquainted with the resort and with the room, and then we went out to Broadway at the beach, and we got her first Build-A-Bear. Now, our daughter, Avalon, used to love Build-A-Bear. That was her favorite prize for some special event, and I don't know how many she was able to make, but it was always very, very special. So we wanted to replicate that with our granddaughter, and she picked out and we helped her pick out a little lamb, and she got to go up, and they put the stuffing in it, and they put the little heart in there, and it's really just a sweet experience. So she would not let that little lamb go. And my wife asked her, what do you want to name your lamb? And she's only 1.5 years, and she said, Abu. And we thought she just sort of threw a word out there, and she didn't really know what she was saying because she's not really talking yet, just a couple words. She actually knows more sign language than she does words. It's very unusual and unique. So she told her mom and dad, tell them what you called your lammy, and she said it again, Abu. So I don't know where that came from or what it means. We put a la in there, like labu, I love you, kind of a thing. But it was really sweet. And then we went to Fuddruckers, which is one of my favorite restaurants in all the world, and brought back a lot of memories because we used to take our kids there a lot growing up. We got to fix up our hamburgers and really enjoy that. And then afterwards we went to back to the room, and we had bought some Jiffy Pop. Do you all know what that is? I mean, it's that popcorn that you put on the stove and you sort of shake it and it puffs up. Well, when I took the cardboard top off, I punctured the foil on top. So as it began to puff up, instead of just making that beautiful dome that you're used to, it just started shooting out everywhere. And it was a little bit funny. And then we, Daphne danced and invited the girls up to dance, and her dad, and I think we watched some kind of a movie, and we made root beer floats, and it's just very special. The next morning we went to Friendly's because we used to take the kids there when we went to Myrtle Beach, and we got the little ice cream monster, and Daphne loved that. She didn't get to eat much of it because she doesn't eat much sugar, but that was brought back a lot of memories as well. So, you know, when you travel, and I don't know if you can see the map behind right there, but that's a world map, and we put little dots on the countries that we visited. So far it's been a little over 50 that we've been privileged to visit, hopefully many more in the future, and some of them are extensive. You know, we one time took a 4-month trip where we went around the world heading east the whole way and just stopping at different points. They used to have airline tickets where you'd pay one price, and as long as you're heading in the same direction, you can stop at as many of their airports as you wanted to. And then if they didn't go somewhere, you could take a little hop and just add that to your itinerary. But that was 30 countries in 4 months, and it was amazing. On another trip, my wife, Jody, and her mom, Pat, and I went to Israel. And we spent 3 weeks in Israel and Egypt, and we participated in an archaeological dig at Tel Bet Shan, and just had an amazing time. On the way back, we hit a few European cities. I think we hit someplace in Switzerland, and Paris, and Venice, because our luggage was detained in Israel, so we got to Venice, and it happened to be like winter and very, very cold, and we about froze to death. But lots of neat stories. But and then one time we took a 21-day cruise down through the Caribbean, South America, ended up in Brazil. They dropped us off, and the cool thing, we were with 90% of the ship was Brazilians, and it was during the World Cup. So, and they love soccer, so it made it very, very exciting on the ship, because their team went on, I think, to the semifinals, or maybe the finals, but very exciting, the whole cruise. So I had a great little 4-night getaway. 2 nights are great too, and I want to encourage you, first of all, travel. Make it a point to take your wife and your kids to whatever you can afford, even if it's camping or visiting family and staying with them. Just make it special. Go out and find what's in the area. Don't just go somewhere and sit in front of the television set or lay out by the pool all day. I mean, you can do that at a local park or something like that, but see what's interesting and exotic in the area that you're going, and make it something special. The world and life should be filled with spice. Spice is adventure, and adventure is everywhere if we'll just look for it. So this was one of my checks on my year list, and I just wanted to share just a little bit with it. It's not like a travel vlog, which I wish it was more like that. Maybe in the future I'll put a little bit more time into it and really do something interesting. I do have a desire to do that, and when we travel some more, I hope to be able to do some very exciting and entertaining travel vlogging. But on this trip, I'm just going to show some photos of where we were at, and just encourage you, get out there and do those things. Make time for it. It's important to your family. And if you ask my kids, who are grown now, what were some of the most special memories you have growing up, they'd one of the things on the top would be the little trips we took and the travel that we took as a family. So do that and make it special. And yeah, that's it. Go find that adventure. So until next time, I say to you, Godspeed, keep the faith. One thing I forgot to mention when I shot yesterday, one of the most important things about our travel is that we're out and about, and we sort of look at it as being missionaries, whether we're in another city or whether we're in another country. And because, you know, I saw a sign once on a church. When you were leaving, it was above the door, and it said, "You are now entering the mission field." And really, every day we leave our house, we're entering the mission field. And we should have our minds thinking about how we can please the Lord, lift up the name of Jesus, and lead other people to Him. So one of the ways we do that is by passing out tracts. And it's just easy. I mean, sometimes you'll feel led to give a tract to a person, to actually hand it to them. Other times you leave them in different places, whether it's at a gas station where you get gas, or whether it's a restaurant that you're eating, or wherever you find yourself, there's places where you can discreetly leave tracts where you feel like other people will find them, and maybe in a place of privacy they might take that and put it in their pocket, or just even read it. but it's good too to hand them to people, and then sometimes God just leads you to minister directly to people. We were in McDonald's one morning having breakfast, and there was a woman asking different people if she could borrow their phone. She was homeless. Didn't ask me, but I heard her, and I went over and I said, "Do you need to make a phone call?" And she said, I really do." And she didn't even take the phone from me, which is a worry that most people would have. She said, "Would you mind dialing the number and just putting it on speaker?" And I said, "Sure." And she was trying to reach out to somebody to help her with some transportation or something like that. But we ended up talking for a while, and she didn't know Jesus. And she had some very unusual theology, but she allowed me to share about the Lord with her. And at the end I asked if I could pray for her, and she said yes, and put her hand out, and I took her hand and prayed for her. And Jody was sitting just a few booths over and was praying as well. But that really touched my heart. And then at Bass Pro Shops, we had an exchange with a woman who was greeting us when we came in. She was an employee, and come to find out she had lost her husband. She was from South Africa, and very, very tragic story, but we got to talk to her about Jesus, and it was beautiful. It was powerful. It was almost overwhelming. You know, God, if you have a heart to minister, God's going to give you the opportunity to do so, one way or the other. And if you're filled with the Spirit and walking in the power of the Holy Spirit, things are going to happen that are supernatural in nature, whether it's somebody opening up their heart or mind that never has before, or whether it's understanding and discovering a deep need in their heart that the Lord needs to minister to them. But if you'll allow the Lord to use you, He'll use you. And then the third, we were in Krispy Kreme, and we interacted with the two employees that were there, and really just had a beautiful time. And then we went to sit down with our donuts, and over on the side in the next room there was a group of maybe 15 or 20 elderly women, and they were having a Bible study prayer meeting, and they all prayed together, and it's like, wow, this is better than church, you know. So when your mind is on Christ and you go out into the world thinking you're going on a vacation, make it a missionary vacation. Make it something. There's no saying that, okay, this is church, this is my work, this is my vacation. I got to keep them, separate church and state. No, not with true Christianity. With true Christianity, you never leave Jesus behind. He's with you always. He's with you at work. He's with you on vacation. He's with you at home. He's with you when you're alone in your office with a computer or looking at your phone or just wherever. The Lord is there. And we need to act accordingly and honor Him and do His work. It's very, very important. So that was the best part of our little adventure getaway, our little vacation, was the opportunity and the privilege of being able to minister and having open hearts that were willing to listen to what we had to say. So, and the last thing, I mentioned on the previous episode that I had a bottle of wine, and the question I had was, what am I going to do with it? And if you want to put in the comments what you think I did with it right now, maybe just pause and see if you can guess as a little bit of a challenge. Go ahead and do that, because I'm going to show a video that I took of what I actually did with that bottle of wine. So that's coming up next, and I'll end the program with that. But as I said earlier, and I always say, I wish you Godspeed, and remember to keep the faith. This is a bottle of wine that Jody and I made on the Divina, one of the MSC cruises that we took. And it's called the Parent Trap. We named it after the movie. And we thought, I don't know. Anyways, we had it tucked away for 5 years, and we just found it in a cupboard because we were going through there and we haven't in so long. And I'm going to show you what we do with wine in our house. And last week on my episode, I said, take a guess what I'm going to do with this bottle of wine. And what's your guess?
Let's see if anybody got it right. I know how to do this because before I went to Bible college, I used to be a waiter. So in a nice restaurant, I used to open a lot of bottles of wine. Let's see if I still know how. Anyways, so it's open, right? Smells very good, but in our house, we find a really good use for wine, and it's really the only good use for it. But let's see if you guessed properly. That's an offering to the Lord. We don't drink. I have drunk lots when I was younger. Never did me any good. A lot of the nightmares of my life have come through some form of alcohol. So I encourage you, give it up as an offering to the Lord. You won't regret it. You won't regret it. But that's the best use for wine. You agree with me, honey?
Yes.
My wife agrees, of course. We're unified in all things. But anyways, that's that.